Thank you very much for having given me, or you don't realize, but that year which you've gone through and the few years remaining, they are the best years of your life. They never come back. But what I feel very odd is, as teaching throughout generations to generation, your generation has been even if you take the last 10 years, the Reader's Digest, that article where that university professor says that in the last 10 years, human knowledge has taken such a quantum leap that it has surpassed man's efforts over the last millennium. So just imagine that I got to admit that it has taken such a quantum leap that it has surpassed all its combined efforts of over a millennium, which have gone before. Just let us pause for an instant and consider the mind-boggling changes we have witnessed. When I say we have witnessed, I consider myself among them, that is those who were born before 1945. Before 45, I qualify, I was born in 35. He says, see how we write, we are survivors. Consider the changes we have witnessed. We were before penicillin, television, polio shots, Xerox machines, contact lenses, frozen foods, and oral We were before radar, credit cards, split atoms, laser beam, ballpoint pens, dishwashers, clothes dryers, air conditioners, drip dry clothing, and before man is supposed to have walked on the moon. But you know, my young friends, we got married first and then lived together. Having a meaningful relationship for us meant getting along with our cousins. Outer space meant the back of the local theatre. We were before house husbands, gay rights, computer dating, dual careers, group therapy, nursing homes. We never heard of the FM radio, never heard of tape decks, I've never heard of them myself, electric typewriters, word processors, artificial hearts, kidney transplants, and eye banks. Time sharing meant togetherness, not computers or ownership flats. A chip meant a piece of wood. Hardware was to get your toilet accessories. Internet was not even a word. We took it as for catching spiders. Pizza and instant coffee were never heard of. Drugs meant medicines, and grass was only for cattle. Coke was just a cold drink, and pot was something we cooked. Rock music was a grandmother's lullaby, and AIDS were helpers in the office. We were before the sex change operation, and I think we were the last generation that was so dumb to think that a husband was required to get a baby. But we have survived it. But let us therefore acknowledge the fact that this generation has been exposed as never before to not only a knowledge explosion, audio, visual barrage of unproportioned dimensions. And therefore I definitely agree that that generation of yours does not believe in heroes or gurus and recognizes pretty early that the pedestals get very dusty. My young friends, I tell the parents, though nobody believes me, that there are only two lasting things that we can give or bequeath to our children, that is roots and then wings. Yes, my dear students, you should learn not only the wonder of books, but also take time out to ponder over the eternal mystery of the birds in the sky, the bees in the sun, and the flowers on a green hillside. Learn to listen to all men, even this Mad Bawa, but filter all you hear on a screen of truth and take only the good that comes through. Sell your brawn and brain to the highest bidder, but never put a price tag on your heart and your soul. My dear young students, I envy you your next 2 decades of youth. It is the nectar of life. Drink of it to the full. Youth is God's gift to mankind. Don't let this flame of youth which is still burning in you die out too early. Nurture it, my dear young friends, nurture it for years and years to come. For ideals are like stars, we'll never reach them. But like the mariners of the sea, we will chart our course by them. I personally believe that education is an ornament in prosperity, like for this bastard, but it is a refuge in adversity. So often it happens that you think you don't need, if you join your father or something. I've seen 2 cases, I wouldn't mention, I think 2 or 3 cases I've seen, that you join and you do well, then the business crashes. Then if you've got a degree or education, you can survive. You can definitely pull through life. And real education, as I said, it's the architecture of the soul. It is not the knowledge of facts alone, but of values. Please remember that in your quest, your generation, I sincerely believe that in your quest for instant gratification, that it is far better to learn early in life, to love people and use things, and not love things and use people. But I suppose mankind very rarely realizes that. So often my students will ask me, what do you mean by saying have sublime and infinite faith in yourself and your own God-given talents? Then and then only can you have sublime faith in mankind. I don't know in this futuristic world what we think or we do. I think this means having a deep sense of responsibility for your thoughts and your actions. It means keeping your word, being faithful to self, family and work in that order. It means setting your own internal standards and never compare yourself to others. It is never a question of doing better than someone else. Respect and integrity demands that you do even a little bit better than you thought that you could do, and you will always succeed in life. Because never imitate, because your greatest asset is your own individuality. Just gently, of course, remind yourself that the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. You make a living, you always make a living by what you earn, but you should make a life by what you give. And please try and remember that this I've noticed so often, that The world can only stop you from succeeding or setting your own standards temporarily. But what can stop you permanently is yourself. If you've lost faith in yourself, you can never succeed. For the races of life are never won by the fastest, quickest or swiftest man. Never. Sooner or later, the man or woman who wins is the one who thinks he can. If he thinks he can do it, he will always do it. You know, at this stage, boys, I would like to read this letter. I mean, I never expected this from my own student. 6/2/97, 6:39 p.m. So I think that time maybe I took it in February before. Dear Mr. Moogat sir, I've just returned from the farewell lecture you delivered to the Vincent's batch. I was there, as it so happened, purely by chance. I missed the very first 2 lectures you took in 1996, as I was indisposed, if that's the right word, and I would have missed even your last. But at 3:30 p.m. today I decided that I would go in the Vincent's batch and listen to what you had to say to them and to me. And believe me, sir, I'm glad that I did. I cannot even begin, sir, to claim that I was one of your better students of your batch, but I wasn't one of the duds either. Not that there were any, and you, sir, taught us to respect ourselves. Today's lecture, sir, was to me more than just the time I'd go for a tuition class. It was the end of a type of life, and I'd like you to know it. In a teenager's life, nothing much is constant, and indeed that is what makes youth what it is. But you provided me with a certain something that I could depend upon. I knew that I was supposed to attend Moogat's lectures in the evening from 6 to 8. This surety balanced the confusion that otherwise was. You may feel, sir, that this letter is nothing more than a big swab of muska, as you always put it for us. But it isn't, and I mean what I say, and I say what I feel. There is nothing special about this letter, sir. It's not from students who became a Chainani or a Suryavanshi or a Raman, and so I had to think twice about putting my pen to paper. But now, 1.5 sides into it, I feel glad that I chose to write. I don't know, sir, where I may get in life, but I assure you that the 2 lessons you tried so desperately to teach us in class shall always stay with me. I shall always trust in myself and hope that I so hope and trust in what is right, and shall strive to always see that the ability of laughing at myself that you so much inculcated in us shall never and never be forgotten by me. Sir, I made friends on your dining room, said things about the master of the house few visitors could ever imagine. I have had names called to me, and I have called others names. But the spirit of Bonheim I encountered in your house, no, in your class, no, in your house and your dining table, I have never encountered anywhere else. At this point in time, sir, I venture to make a promise, not to you, sir, but to myself. I promise that I shall never be able to forget the the one fear of beginning. And let me now pause and see, even if I try to, that this is not a letter and it is not a thank you note. It is time, sir, I feel that I said goodbye. But as I step into the next important stage of my life, I like to think of this not as an ending, but as a beginning. For an ending is also a beginning. A question also holds an answer. As I close my chapter in my book today, I know that tomorrow's sunshine will bring with it another page, another chapter, another story, another future, and another history. But I'd like to thank you, sir, for making the reading of the chapter that has just passed enjoyable and a memorable experience. Thank you, sir. Another one of your innumerable students, you have taught in your inimitable style the Cardinal Richelieu, because he had that bloody funny and, Three Musketeers, I don't know if you heard of Cardinal Richelieu. Vishal Bhalla, 1996-97 batch, Ferguson College, and according to you, the beautiful curves. Thank you. Now, this bastard is now, Toys R Us. Toys R Us is the biggest. He is the, I don't know what he says, I may give ideas for the toys. I don't know, he's on a very, very, very high post. And now, in the beginning, of course, when I told Bhalla, I said, Vishal, I don't know what your parents, you want to go here to the Jahangir Art Gallery, JJ School of Arts in Bombay. At that time, JJ School of Arts in Bombay, they were, what is that? It's only for idiots who have nothing else to do and draw, maybe, I don't know if they draw nice things or whatever. But they were so angry with me and him. Then now, he purposely told them on his marriage, he said, sir, I am going to bring them and I'll tell them to apologize. Don't be stupid. He said, now they think I'm a great man. That is because he thought out of the box. That's the way you put it. That he really did. I give him full credit. I don't know. I would like, in my own way, to put this small thing across. Boys, I can't believe this. We are the ordinary men about whom songs are never written, stories are never told, legends are never remembered. No bells will ring for us. No flags will descend upon their masts. We too dream of wealth and riches, health and strength. We too fear hunger, poverty, war and weakness. But we are the men who will live forever in the thousands of years to come. For we are the people who will reap the few benefits and pay for the many errors that are created by the supposed to be leaders and prophets and the great men of society. And the great are but our servants, for our numbers are legion. The great are commemorated by their mighty monuments. But for us, all who weep for their loved ones, they weep for us. Because to live in the hearts we live behind is not to die. Now, I've often felt a sort of envy of human beings and of that thing that we call a soul or Atma. Human beings have created 1,000,000 explanations of the meaning of life in art, in poetry, and mathematical formula. Certainly then, human beings themselves must be the key to the meaning of existence. I just in passing just now told you that, that to live in the hearts you leave behind is not to die. Otherwise, I'll never forget that if you go to the NDA, his name, his photo is right in front. He died in the 1971 war. What is wrong with me? Had gone visiting with my people. They had come from Moogat and wanted to see the NDA. So I went to the NDA and I was looking out and I saw his right in front. He had got the Paramavi Chakra and all. I was just looking, telling my wife, she said, wasn't he the one? Yeah, I said, he was the one who used to come to us. I remember I told him, he said, no sir, I would love to fly, I don't care. Anyway, that I don't remember the full thing. But I was just talking to her, then by chance I turned and behind her is mother and father. And I'll never forget that they turned around and said, listen, there's nothing to feel bad. I'm feeling so happy that even for you, he lives in your heart. I've got your last lecture, sir. He's not gone. He's not gone, sir. He lives with us. He lives in our heart. Then she took me round and the commandant of the NDA, that Khetarpal, Arun Khetarpal, you see, right, you go to the NDA. This is the first one, Arun Khetarpal. It's the date, it was the 1971, at which sector and all that, I don't remember. But that, I think, would be the true meaning of life. And another very important aspect of life is, you should remember that life is a one-way street. No matter how many detours you want to take, none of them would lead back. I hope it would. I would love to sit here. Once we know and accept that, life becomes much simpler, because then you know you must do the best you can with what you have, what you are, and what you have finally become. For what you are is God's gift to you, and what you finally become is your gift to God and existence. Because, I don't know, but because life, boys, is not and will never be only peaches and cream nor sunshine and dreams, but a tear today and a smile tomorrow. Roses that bloom will also fade, but with the light there is the shade. In the ashes of all your dead hopes, try and find even one living ember. And always remember that not happiness alone, but sorrow too makes a person whole. Well, now, very often, maybe not now, but I remember through the years, some of my students used to get up and tell me, what is the meaning of life? Just to be born, breathe and die? It is then that I beseech them to take time out for themselves from their iPods and their calculators and inculcate the habit of reading. Books are a vast storehouse of human knowledge and endeavors, failures and success, and it is from these companions of mine that I believe that the meaning of life, I may be completely wrong, is something that you should build into your life, out of your past, out of your affections and your loyalties, out of your own talents and understanding, out of the values for which you are prepared and willing to sacrifice something at least. You are the only one who can put these ingredients together into that unique pattern that will be your life and your life alone. Let it be one that has dignity and has meaning for yourself. For during your life, everything you do and everyone you meet rubs off in some way. Some bit of everything you experience stays with you. Nothing is lost. That's what's eternal. And these little specks of experience in a great, enormous river that has no end and is eternal. I mean, okay, now I've said, I've tried, I've told you all the little things that I did want you to, and I remember something that afterwards, after I had talked to someone about all these usual rites, I don't know in which year it was, that in these troubled times of ethnic and religious upheavals, remember that you are the birds of the same nest. We may wear different skins, we may speak different languages, we may believe in different religions, we may belong to different cultures, yet we share the same home, our earth, born on the same planet, covered by the same skies, gazing at the same stars, breathing the same air. We must learn to happily progress together or miserably perish together. For man can live individually, but he can survive only collectively. This is supposed to have been in the Atharvana Veda, thousands of millenniums years ago. I try so often, and I don't think I've succeeded, I try to tell the parents who keep troubling me, I say, look, your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They are through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may have given them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their soul, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backwards, nor does it tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his right might, that his arrows might go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer